Hello, welcome to my show. This is my other show, AhMuse. This is the show on which I get to, I'm thrilled to, I'm tickled to, I'm allowed to, I'm eager to talk to people who are visited by the Muse. This time, my guest is Patricia Caspers. Thank you, Tricia, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure. Tricia is an author. She's a publisher. She's a writer. And she's been around for years. She doesn't look like she's been around for years. She's been around for years. And if by the time we get finished with this, if you are interested in contacting her or learning more, please email her pcaspers.com, pcaspers.com, and or investigate the magazine, the writing magazine she publishes or is editor of.
I'm publishing.
It's her magazine. westtresselreview.com. westtresselreview.com. Now, I want to talk about lots of things here, and we don't have a lot of time. We have time enough. But there's something new with what you're doing. You're starting a writing group with teenagers. Tell me about that.
Oh, I was offered a grant from the Arts Council of Placer County to offer a free creative writing workshop for teens. So that begins on Mondays, and it will be held. Placer High School gets out early on Mondays, so it'll be held at 2:45 at 190 Finley Street, and that is right next to the high school, to Placer High School at Finley and Orange. And it'll go for about an hour and 15 minutes every week, and we're going to cover all of the genres and have fun, and we're not going to worry about grammar or punctuation or any of those mechanics that they're getting in school. We're just writing for the joy of writing.
Okay. Writing for oneself.
Yes.
Okay. And getting it down. And what will you be doing? They will be there having a heck of a good time, getting their words out, getting their what they want to say out. And then what will you be doing?
Well, the plan is that I will bring some material for them to read, and we'll read it together, and then we'll spend some time writing, and then we'll share what we've written, and then we'll have a conversation about that writing, about what we loved about it, and then, however long that lasts, it'll last, and then we'll move on and move on to the next thing. And if there are people who are more interested in making art, then they can write a little and they can make some art. We'll have some art supplies as well. So I'm just there to be a facilitator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give them time, here's a little bit of direction, but kids students, about how old do you expect they'll be?
Well, it's for high school, so
Okay.
9th through 12th grade,
Okay.
so 14 through 18.
Yeah, okay. I remember being convinced that I know what I'm doing. I've always been convinced that except now. But the opportunity to write for people who are for myself and my colleagues, that would be fascinating. That would be fun, and I would hope that I'm thinking about myself as a 17-year-old. I was convinced that other people knew more than I did all the time, and maybe that so people who are going to do this will be confident that they know what they're doing and eager to learn more.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just important to carve out some space in your week. As for me, if I know that I have to be at a place at a certain time where I'm going to have an opportunity to write, sometimes that's all I can squeeze in during my week, and I know, these students are so busy with their lives.
Yes.
So I hope that, this will allow some of them to make some space for
Yes.
creative writing.
So it's on the first Monday.
That is Silver Tongue Saturdays. So, it's every Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's every Monday on the short day at Placer High.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, next to Placer High.
next to Placer High, for Placer High. And the address is what?
190 Finley Street.
Yes.
At the corner of Orange.
Okay. That's wonderful. Do they have to sign up beforehand, or they can just come in?
Nope, they're welcome to drop in.
It's a drop-in kind of thing. They don't have to register or anything.
Nope.
And if they don't show up, they don't get scolded.
Right.
And if they do show up, you get to write.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And if they do show up, then I can also, I can request for more grant money for future funding.
So show up, kids.
Exactly.
Okay. That's wonderful. It's something I wish I had when I
Me
was.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm doing it, is because I was here in Auburn as a teenager writing alone in my bedroom, thinking that nobody else was writing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So writing. So you have two books that you brought with you. So would you hold up the first one?
Well, I've only brought the one book this time. So this is my latest book. This is Some Flawed Magic. The last time I was here, I had In the Belly of the Albatross, which was my first book.
Okay.
But this is Some Flawed Magic. This is my.
And how many books have you written in between?
Oh, just the two. I mean, just the two that are published.
Oh yes, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Yes. So when did you publish Some Flawed Magic?
This came out a year ago, last November.
Okay.
So a little over a year ago.
And how can a person get it?
They can. How can they get it? That's a good question. Well, it's available on Amazon, but I know some people are opposed to Amazon. So you can also get it from the publisher. The publisher is Kelsey Press. It's Kelsay.
Kelsay Press.
Yep.
And there's a website, kelsaypress.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Kelsay Press.com. And is your other book there too?
No, my other book is with Glass Lyre Press.
Glass Lyre.
Mm-hmm.
GLASSLYER.
R-E.
Glass, GLASSLYRE. I like that.
Yeah, and that's In the Belly of the Albatross.
In the Belly of the Albatross. So, and these are poetry books,
They are.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you write poetry. Do you also write other kinds of genres?
I do, yeah. I write personal essays, and I'm also writing a little fiction. Last time I was here, I mentioned that I was writing a middle grade novel. I completed my middle grade novel.
And there it is.
Yeah, it's on my computer.
Yeah. Oh.
So maybe one day I'll find a home for it.
Yes.
I write a little bit of everything, a little memoir, and I'm just curious about, what's going on in the world. I like to do research. I like to write about, I sort of write as a way of learning. I like to learn and write, so I write nonfiction as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm thinking about people who are watching and who are writers, including the director behind that camera. That it is apparently, no, it is not only apparently, it's the fact that most people publish less than they write.
Oh, yes.
There are some authors who are, just write thousands of books, but that's not most authors. Who publish thousands of books. That's not most authors. Lots of people write without even being published. Hi. And lots of people write a lot like you do and don't publish all of it.
Right.
And yet they keep on writing. Okay, so you have you're starting a writing group for teenagers on Mondays at 190 Finley. And if a student from another high school is aware of this, can they come too?
Of course, absolutely. The only challenge is getting there in time.
Oh, sure.
Right. But
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of homeschoolers around as well, so if there are homeschool teenagers who want to show up, they're welcome to come. Everybody's welcome as long as they're teenagers.
Yes. Now, how can one find out about this?
Oh, it's on my website, the patriciacaspers.com. patriciacaspers.com.
P. Caspers?
Oh no, this is my email address, pcaspers@westdressel.com. But
Oh,
my
good grief.
my
Okay,
website is
and I can-
patriciacaspers.com.
And so, okay. So, we mentioned, we got Silver Tongue Saturdays
Yes.
out there briefly. But, so there's Silver Tongue Saturdays.
Yes.
So what is that?
Silver Tongue Saturdays is held the first Saturday of every month at City Hall, 1225 Lincoln Way in Auburn, from 5 to 7 p.m. And I'm inviting writers, poets, people who write creative nonfiction up to Auburn to read. It's held live and in person. It's streamed live, and it's also recorded, and it's on YouTube for posterity.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
And how long has that been going?
It started last July, and I hope that it will keep going. It's funded by the Auburn Arts Commission, which I'm really grateful.
Thank you, Auburn Arts Commission.
Thank you, Auburn Arts Commission. So I hope that it will keep. I had funding for a year, and then I'm hoping it'll be able to keep going. But I have some readers coming up. Can I
Oh,
mention who they are?
please,
Okay.
please.
So the upcoming readers are Amanda Moore, Carla Brundage, Manaz Badihian, Joyce Young, and Devorah Major. And they're Bay Area poets for
Okay.
the most part.
How do you find these people?
Well,
Many have written for West Trestle Review.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Some of them have, but because of West Trestle Review, I try to stay connected to the writing world, and I tend to come across a lot of writers just in my life online, and whenever I read something that I like, by someone who's local, I will
That breaks
reach out.
open your head. And
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I invite them to come.
Great. And how can a person find out about this?
That is on the West Trestle Review website.
Okay.
So
Okay.
westtresselreview.com.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have been there once.
Okay.
My problem with and it wasn't. It's always on the first Saturday.
I recently changed it. It was on a different Saturday,
Okay.
but it was conflicting with something that was going on at Sacramento, the Sacramento Poetry Center. So now it is the first Saturday.
Okay. So if you went there at the beginning, it's not there. It doesn't. It's not on the same day.
Right. And it was at 4, and now it's at 5
Okay.
because I started a new job and I can't get there till 5.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, and I remember I've been there once. I can't go there anymore because I have this major league thing on the first Saturday of the month. Silver Screen Classic Movies.
Oh, right. Your movies.
Silver Screen, auburnsilverscreen.com. Always on the first Saturday of the month. And what I learned it was maybe the third or the fourth meeting, and the people who were there, some people had started, and they were impressed, and so was I, that the number of people who had increased, which is a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was really just me, my mom, and the reader. And my husband who does the recording.
Yeah.
But it is increasing. It seems like every month we have.
That's wonderful, Trish.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's also kind of scary to have people I don't know show up. But it's exciting.
Oh yeah. That yes. But people you know come because they love you.
Right.
People you don't know come because, oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And if they come again, they love you.
Yeah.
and they're going to tell more people. That's terrific. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you say you started a new job.
I did. Yes.
And what is that?
I am the Youth Services Librarian at the Madeline Helling Library in Nevada City.
The youth what?
Services. Youth Services.
And what does that mean?
It means that I create programming for people who are ages 0 to 18. And I help choose books for the collection, and I find grants for the programming, and I work with a team of people to make the library an inviting place to get the youth in there, to get them excited about coming in for different reasons, and then have that energy kind of move into reading. That's the goal.
Oh, I look at her face and she is so pleased, so excited. Oh my goodness.
It's fabulous.
It's fabulous. It just similar to the writing group with teenagers, similar to Silver Tongue Saturdays, similar to West Trestle Review. It's all fascinating and exciting and thrilling.
It is.
Oh, Trish, this is just wonderful. And do you have you don't have a library degree? Do you have a library degree?
I don't. I have 5 years of experience working in libraries before this.
Okay.
And I go round and round about whether or not I am able to make the time to get a Master's of Library Science. There are online programs available, so that's something I'm considering.
Also,
yes, in addition to all the other things I'm doing.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I would like to talk about writing.
Okay.
Why do you write? You write. I think we talked about it a little at the beginning of this.
Well, I started writing when I was 10, because my grandmother was really the only person in my family who was a reader. Most of the people in my family hadn't graduated from high school when I was born, and they weren't readers. But my grandmother was an avid Agatha Christie fan. And so she...
That'll do it.
Yeah. So she would tell me about the stories. And then she gave me the Shel Silverstein books, Where the Sidewalk Ends and A Light in the Attic.
Yes.
And I fell in love with those books. And I think partly because I loved those books so much, and partly because I created a connection with her. I started writing my own poems and reciting them, and then she died when I was 12. And so at that point it really became a way to survive, because I've struggled with depression for most of my life, and writing was a way to keep myself sane. And I feel like it's changed in the last few years. I don't feel like I have to write to
be sane.
To be sane anymore. I mean, not that I'm ever going to be completely sane, but
I could argue with you, but I don't live inside your head.
But I am still writing because it does bring me joy, because it feels like solving a puzzle. It makes me pay attention to what it makes me have to be present in a moment to notice what's going on around me and to think about it in interesting ways and to make connections between, all of the different things I'm experiencing. And because I have a writing community that I admire and adore, and they make me feel like I belong.
I should hope so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to you and agreeing wholeheartedly with you about literature, about books, about writing, about thinking about writing, about words, about libraries. And there are people who can't understand the need for a library.
Oh, yes.
There are people who think, well, oh, come on, just use it. Ask Siri. Just ask Siri. And granted, you get that information. And there are people who don't understand the need, why anybody would want to read, much less write. And you were talking about yourself. Can you talk about why that might be a good idea for others? Reading, writing, libraries?
Well, libraries are one of the last, maybe the last place in the United States where we can go, anyone can go, and take advantage of its services for free. And just be there and exist there, use the computers or read the books, or, in my library we have art classes and felting classes and Lego clubs, and it's all free. And I just think that what an amazing thing that so many people from so many different walks of life can come together in this one place. Yeah. I think that's really, really important. And reading, oh my gosh, reading, it takes us into other people's lives. It creates empathy. It takes us out of our own minds. And I got into a space where I felt like, I don't have time to read anymore. I can listen to audiobooks. That's all I have time for. But what I realized is that we're living in this time, in this place where everything is about how productive we are. We have to be producing all the time. And so now I read as an act of resistance to that. I tell myself, I don't have to be productive all the time. I am worthy without having to produce anything, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read this book and I'm going to enjoy it. I think that's really important for people to do.
So there.
Yes, exactly. So there. Yep.
Oh my. Okay. I'm trying to think of a question to ask about how that you would answer, and I would disagree heartily with you, but I'm having a hard time. How we were talking, the three of us, you, me, and the director, about how do we know when we're done?
Oh,
When
right.
when we're writing something. We know we're done when we're reading something, sort of. Because then we might want to read something else by that person or something else about that thing. Anyway, how do we know when we're done when we're writing?
I was thinking about how, I don't know if you know that Eric Clapton song, Old Love. Do you know that song? Well, it's a great song about old love, leave me alone. And I was thinking about how the things that I write are sort of like old lovers. Like,
Go on.
I never really let them go. I may not engage with them anymore, but there's a time when I have to say, I love this piece. There's more that could be done, and it's just going to stay with me as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you never really do know when it's over.
Okay, especially if
But
you love
sometimes you just have to let it go.
Yeah, right. And sometimes you know that something is working, and there are movies about writers, and sometimes you see them throw their typewriters out the windows. Do you ever feel like that?
When I write form poems, sometimes I feel that way because, I do the scansion, and I've been during quarantine, I took a lot of old poems that weren't working, and I called it upcycling. So I upcycled them into form poems. So I was writing sonnets, and I was writing sestinas, and it was, all that good stuff. Those are really hard when you are following the meter and you're trying to scan and have the rhyme scheme. Yeah. So that's really the only time when I felt like, that guy on Sesame Street, I'm never gonna get it, banging my head on the piano.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think it's exciting to try to figure out where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm remembering, there's a book for youngsters where we learn about what a sonnet is, and you have to live your life within a sonnet. There are rules, but within those rules you can do anything you want.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay, and form is like form is what is in that a sonnet has a form.
Right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I just write. My friend calls them 14ers, where it's
14 lines.
14 lines that rhyme in a rhyme scheme, but they don't have any meter.
Oh, okay.
So that works too. And I love to break the rules. That's one of the joys of writing form poems, I think, is to break the rules and to also have it reflect the content of the poem. Sometimes if a poem is about a rule breaker, then
I'm going to break the rules.
Exactly.
And I need to stop right here.
Okay.
I've had a wonderful time talking with you, Tricia, excuse me. This has been Tricia Caspers, and she is deeply involved with writing and writers in Auburn and elsewhere. I am thrilled to have this conversation with you. If you're if you're interested in learning more, pcaspers.com or patriciacaspers.com and or westtresselreview.com. Take a look at that. Trestle, TRESTLE review.com.
And we have plenty going on at the Madeline Helling Library in Nevada City, so you can come and see me there.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again.